Agenda 2063 is a strategic framework for inclusive growth and sustainable development. It was developed in 2015 here in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, during the 24th African Union Assembly of Heads of State and Government. And Agenda 2063 is anchored on the AU vision and is based on the 7 aspirations derived from the consultations, which include a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development, as well as an integrated continent, politically united, based on the ideals of Pan-Africanism and the vision of Africa's renaissance. Hello everyone, this is our special edition, and on this edition, we'll try to focus on Pan-Africanism and integrated Africa. I'm Sintayo Tamrat with this, and my guest today is Michael Mehereti Adeta, who is a Pan-Africanist political engineer and investor. He will tell us more about himself. A warm welcome to you, Michael.
Good morning. I'm very glad to be here this morning. How are you? Like you said, my name is Michael Yadada. I'm a civil engineer. I'm based in the United States, and this morning I'm in beautiful Africa, Ethiopia.
Well, that's good. So, Michael, what are you just doing here in Ethiopia? I heard that you have some projects here in Africa.
Yes.
And what are those projects, and how long have you been here in Africa?
Well, to be honest, I was found and born in Africa. I'm so glad to be African, and especially Ethiopian. Well, I've been in Africa working almost for the last 10 years now. I'm traveling from the north, south, and the east. This time we came as a group to work in Ethiopia as well as in the rest of Africa. So like I said, I'm a civil engineer. What we wanted to do in Africa is trying to empower Africa through economy, through education exchange, both from Africa and Europe and also United States. That's why we're here, and actually today would be my wonderful day to tell you this Saturday morning.
Which country are just your focus countries in Africa, particularly just over the past 5 or 10 years, so that if you tell me this,
Right.
it may just help me to focus on the next topic on those areas.
Oh yes, as you know, like I said, I was working in Kenya. I was working in Kenya in infrastructure, empowering Africa. We work with the client of African Development Bank, the World Bank. So the country that I was working with in the last 5 years are actually just recently, earlier before COVID, we finished a project in Malawi. And also we're still targeting some contracts in Swaziland. And the project that I was working on was transportation engineering. As you know, Pan-African 2063 or the 2015 African Union in Addis Ababa was part of integrating Africa. So for the last 5 years, I was working in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and South Sudan, as well as in Zambia. And right now, we're hoping that this movement in Ethiopia also will make us settle here.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's great just to have you here in Ethiopia again.
Thank you.
Well, Ethiopia is just on a big vibe to host the 35th African Union Summit.
Yes.
And maybe just one of the greatest ideals of Pan-Africanism is to create a more united Africa. But the movement of Pan-Africanism as well as the practice is slowing down.
Yes.
It gets just its head somewhere.
That's right.
And again slows down.
Right.
And what do you think are just the challenges? Now, what I want just to say here
Right.
is that as the African Union just tables certain agendas
Right.
annually,
Right.
one of the greatest grounds
Yes.
is Pan-Africanism.
Right.
Because Agenda 2063 itself is based on Pan-Africanism.
Very true.
So this the upcoming event is also on those Pan-Africanism agendas.
Very right.
Then based on this, can you just share us the challenges
Yes.
the Pan-Africanism faced?
Thank you for the opportunity again. Like you said, Africans are really working together, moving day by day. And it is very unlikely to believe that growths are smooth or symmetrical. It is possible, again, we have a challenge when we're trying to do some businesses with the African. The most important thing I would think we want to do now in this AU summit coming up was that learn from our past and move on to the future. And how we do that, of course, the hindrance, like, you know, countries' stability, political security, also experience we share from which countries are we taking. Some of us are following European development systems, some are following United States, some are following Rwandese. It's my hope that this coming African Union summit, in terms of economy integration, will bring a big alignment for African youth that really integrate and bring change to Ethiopia and also the rest of Africa. So in this aspect, we're here to share our experiences. So Pan-Africanism, both political, economical, and also political. So I think those are a very important thing from my aspect, from personal experiences I've seen in several African countries. The other thing I would like to hope that would happen is that maybe we will have a new set backup plans for those mistakes or those courage that we have, and then we appreciate them with one African in the rest of other Africans. So for us, of course, I'm American, Ethiopian, and African, I would say we need to show those open to the rest of investors so that they can show up. There's so many global investors who are watching to see where to invest their businesses, where to work with. So that's what I see. Whatever is hindering us, I think it is possible to cut them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I say.
So I think just institutionalizing
Right.
it at various
Right.
hierarchies,
Right.
and also inculcating it within curriculums just so that
Yes.
university students,
Yes.
even
At the
small
low level.
children, yeah,
Yes.
could understand Pan-Africanism very well, and also just exercise it
Very
in
true.
their everyday life.
Yes.
Would mean a lot to
very
the
true.
concept of Pan-Africanism, so that it should transcend.
Yes.
And we can also just economically,
Yeah.
we have just to support this.
It's very-
Maybe just Africa is a poor continent, and it is
Yeah.
just our poverty.
It's very true. No,
Yeah.
I'm 100% with you on this matter, and I believe several researches show a lot of golden-plated visions are out there, but those visions need to be to the low level, like you suggested, to the children at the high school, elementaries, and universities, how to work with one another, integrating Africa together. Start with the human being, like, you know, we have a 2063 vision for Africa.
Yeah.
But even very few of us understand what is in there. But of course, several works has been in terms of infrastructure. Like, if you remember, one of the projects we assisted was connecting Ethiopia to Kenya. It's called Addis Mombasa Trans Highway. So it's probably more than 1,500 kilometers, if I am very precise on this. So the project is done. It is very possible for you to drive from Ethiopia to Kenya today. So what is now important is, what are we going to exchange? And how are we going to exchange? What are the media, the language, the culture, and everything? Those are one of the facts I would think the African coming together should share from earlyhood to all the way to adulthood. That's what I suggest. Yes.
Okay. Again, one of the visions, as I mentioned earlier, is of Agenda 2063 is an integrated continent, and a way to realize,
Right.
one way to realize that is economic integration.
Very true.
So based on this, you have been just working in several countries,
That's right.
as you mentioned, just
Yes.
more than 10 countries.
Yes.
And what opportunities does Africa to cause this
Tonight.
economic integration?
Yes, this is beautiful, and sometimes you'll be shocked. What you have at your hand is really far away. As I see, there are several things you can exchange with Africans. For instance, if you come up with the agriculture, look Africa. Let's say, for instance, Tanzania. In Tanzania, in the southern side, all the way to Arusha, you see beautiful land scanneries. You can do several different kind of agriculture. And talk about Ethiopia itself. There is so many topographies. We have more than 2,000 altitudes above mean sea level. And you can do different kind of agriculture, including medicinal products, because there are several things that you can sell from your door, and you can make money out of it. And also, if we study Africa, for me, it's not a poor continent, to be honest with you, because it's not just I'm bragging about, but the fact Africa is a very rich continent. And all we need to do is follow the vision that's coming up now. Let's say 2060, 2064. The glory of Africa is around the corner if we work hand in hand. And in terms of music, arts, culture, like I was mentioning to my fellow friends a few weeks ago, was what we have to exchange with the African country is not only from diaspora, to be honest, it's also people within Africa. Let's say Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, South Sudan. South Sudan can supply those cattle farms. They have nice cows and oxes all over the places. So I believe for the diaspora to think to invest in Africa is a very important thing now. Why? Because this is a homeland. Okay. And for us to have growth, we need to invest in the continent. That's what I believe. So, yeah.
Well, that's good. So Africa has got just, I mean, it is the richest continent of the world.
Yes, sir.
We know. For example, the resource in Democratic Republic of Congo might be just enough for Africa to
for the whole Africa. Very right.
Sure.
Very right.
So just using these opportunities and just using some raw materials which are in Ethiopia across just the East Africa, it might just create some sort of big economic integration.
Yes.
And just creating a sort of interdependence, economic interdependence is the very first step just to create a united Africa, because united Africa comes after political integration.
Very true. Very true.
And the other most important thing is just you have been just telling us the Ethiopia-Mombasa road.
Yes.
And also Ethiopia has got a lot just to offer to the region.
Very true.
With Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam.
Yes, the hydroelectric power. And it's amazing because I did my master's in dam construction. If you remember how civilization came to the world from the history, it's the time of the lightings, right? The two people, if I'm sure, Cro-Magnon or Neanderthals, they did the rocks and then the light came in. That's how they say civilization started. The invention of life is where the light started. For us as an Ethiopian or African, to have that large dam which provide light for the rest of the world, for me it's more than electrical light. I would see there is some generational unlocking of businesses, I would see. So for us to offer electricity is one thing. As a grand African mother, I would say to Ethiopia. Why? Because this is where the first human being first found. I'm talking about the rest of the world, actually. Everybody from all over the world came from Ethiopia, I guess. And so for us to provide them electricity and for them to offer us what they have, it's like give and take. And the Mombasa transportation, the roads is one thing. But also we can offer something like the topography for movies, for music, like I was mentioning, to have a carnival, Ethiopian carnival, where the rest of African will come once in a year to Ethiopia and make a street entertainment for the rest and talk to each other and speak to one another. That's money also, I would see. So if Ethiopians,
so this also creates cultural integration.
Yes, one-to-one, African from Zimbabwe, from Kenya, from Rwanda, from all part, from Cape Verde down to Cape of Glass. Those are African, some people don't even know. And from Rabat in the north to down Cape Town. If we work with one another, we know each other. If we have a carnival, not only the soccer, we have a soccer that comes once in a year. But if you ask me who is the player, I don't know any of them. My interest is into music and arts. So this young generation, if they come together and create a movement in Africa, especially in Ethiopia, to have a street carnival like they have in South America. I was in Sao Paulo about 2 years ago, and I was lucky to see entertainment coming from the whole Caribbean region. And they show their cultures, they speak to one another, exchange businesses. So I would really address to those people who do this, and hopefully we will get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very good. So let's now focus on the present challenges that may slow down or maybe hinder the economic integration.
Well, to be honest with you, every great thing comes with the hard work. And it is if we are expecting smooth highway, that means it's impossible. Challenges are actually meant to be there. In our life, when we plan for a great thing, we need to have a challenge. But now, how do we go around the challenge is one big question, I would say. So, of course, security is one thing. African want it to be secured with one another. If I go to Zimbabwe, I want to feel like I'm African. If you want to go to Japan, the same thing. So for me, if we are politically integrated and we need to be politically stable, which we are, I believe, because of course, like I said, we will have one here and there issues. And hopefully those issues will be addressed by African Union. Okay. And you mentioned about an institute in Africa. Of course, institutions are very important. Like you know, in the United States, they really respect an institution. And those are the ones that need to be protected and guarded. And I think that's what I would say in terms of challenge. It's meant to be there. And there is nothing straight up for everything.
So when you say we don't have just enough institutions in Africa,
well, yeah, I would say that we have great ones. Like my biggest suggestion would be to institute with one another as well, like individually. Like let's say I'm from Rwanda, right? I'm from Ghana, right? I wanted to know Africans individually so that we're together, and there need to be some more work under African Union that brings us together, like through music. Of course, sport is there. I see the African Union playing in several countries. That's one great thing, but that's not enough for me. We need to know our money, and like you mentioned earlier, at the high school, at a small level, need to learn about each other. So good. Back in the days, I used to see so many students learning about Ethiopian landscape, and some Ethiopian runner like Abebe Bikila. They know, for instance, in Senegal, there is a street in downtown called Abebe Bikila's street. It's very interesting. So an institution need to be guarded. It's not enough, like you said, like I said as well. But we need to stand with the vision of African Union. That's what I see.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So as you mentioned, just lack of institutes to promote African values, African culture.
Yes.
This is one point.
Right.
And one of the most important institute is just the Peace and Security Institute. That is just why a number of more than 13 countries have military sports here in Africa.
It's very true.
So we have just allowed this as an African nation.
Yes.
Because we don't have just a strong peace and security institutions.
Right.
So the absence of that should be addressed.
Right.
Well, coming to the next point, how do you see the role of diaspora financing in Africa?
Well, to be honest with you, I spoke in several stages about diasporas. The diaspora are important both from locally and internationally, because it's a homecoming. It's your own country. It's your own Africa. For me, not only planning, if this diaspora scheduled certain way to put money together, and also some like coming back to the country, training and guard you and support you day by day. I see the diaspora can be useful. And to be honest with you, for you to come back to your country and invest in and work in, it's an opportunity. In several countries in the world, they did it that way. And for us as African, instead of finger pointing to one another, if we work hand in hand and say no to African poverty. There is no poverty here, actually. I don't even know. Of course, there is drought. These are natural, and we do have in the United States in some places, to be honest. But the mentality we have about Africa need to be put in a certain way that we are not poor. Africa is not poor. But as an African, like I said, we didn't just come for a show off. We need to do something. We need to work with the African Union. We need to work with the existing institution. We need to integrate with one another and also speak to each other heart to heart.
Let's just focus here on the diaspora investment and remittance.
Yes.
Africa has got just over 160 million in the diaspora.
Wow. Yes, that's amazing. That's a big number. Yeah.
And this huge number of diaspora send remittance close to $200 billion.
No, that's very true. But that's not enough. But
So this is just a very good amount just to transform this continent if it is just used in a formal, lawful way.
Yes.
Because just some of the dollars.
Yeah, it's going on the left side.
Yeah,
left side.
Yeah, sure.
very
So
true.
it is this way, and through remittance as well as diaspora investment, if the
Right.
continent just receives this amount of
Right.
dollars, then that would be a very good amount just
Very
to
true.
transform the continent.
It's very right.
And then, what is your evaluation
Yes.
for that?
For me, to be honest with you, we have a large number of diaspora that can do change in a blink of an eye. The reason why I say this is a huge number, you know what I mean? If people hand in hand, we can do a lot of things. So like you said, now the lack of this transparency, if we have transparency in our investment policies in the rest of Africa, which I'm more into positive part of it, to be honest with you, I see so much going on. So if we invest the right way, like for us, we're infrastructure engineers, and as you know, almost 80% of the country's investment is into infrastructure, and those infrastructure need to be invested in Africa. Let's say, talk about the Grand Renaissance is almost close to $9 billion. So we wish that money to be invested back into Africa. That's why we hand in hand and we started as a group. Let's say work with Kenyan and Ugandan, Tanzanian, and that huge amount of money remains in Africa. That the same money can build a nation. To me, that's what I believe. Number two, like you say, the insecurity of how investment goes. Of course, I think we're looking at it. We will correct them not only from the institution side, even as a private investors. We look at it and where the place need to be reported or informed. We will work on that one. And like I said, almost 80% of African investment into infrastructure. What we want for Africa and Ethiopia is we want that infrastructure money to be invested back in Africa. I don't care where the country that would be, could be Ethiopia or Kenya or Uganda. And I'm also grateful to those investors that are here who are working in this country so that they can continue investing, and I can assure them that we work with one another, help each other, and we're not trying to create a competition for other investors. And since I work in several countries in Africa, I've seen the challenge. So what I see we need to do is that we are here to help you. We're here to bring everybody. We're here to also follow the institution, follow the procedures, and work with one another. So like you said, we will look at those challenges. I would call them challenge, where how diaspora will have insecurity to invest in the country, or probably private investors from, I don't know, maybe Japan. If you wanted to come to invest in Ethiopia, Japan, they like to have what they call a farm, like a cotton farm. It's very important. I've seen in Japan in one of the summit, they like Ethiopian cotton, and they told me, Mike, I want to go to Ethiopia and invest there. So if anybody is listening today wanted to invest, I would say really welcome, because the policies and the procedures are there.
Okay, if you just mentioned policy and procedure,
Yeah.
let me allow you only 1.5 minutes just to react on government incentives and bureaucracies across Africa for investors, diaspora investors, as well as just non-African investors.
Yeah, to be honest with you, there is a huge bureaucracies here in Africa, and I don't know if that has to be meant to be that way. But for us, I think day by day, if we will follow our policies, and now at least what we know in Ethiopia, we can speak to the direct responsible person. They can help us arrange the paperwork. Once the paperwork is done, you get a resident permit, and that's how you invest in the country. There is a policy in every place. There's a bureaucracy. You can do nothing about it. Even that's the same in all over the world.
Okay.
And the challenges are there.
It's normal.
Yeah,
It's normal.
it's not about only Ethiopia. It's not normal, but you can do nothing about it. So like, let's say I'm an investor. So I wanted to do business. I already have a challenge in how to make money. Now I also have a challenge how to get the paperwork. That's the double work for me right there. So sometimes you let it go and try some places where you see the bureaucracies are less. So, I mean, I would like to challenge those.
So as you just compare it with America, the bureaucracy in America is somehow better than this, but there are bureaucracies everywhere.
Well, to be honest with you, what we have in America and Ethiopia is incomparable. Well, even in Africa, I would say. But I'm not saying one is better than the other, and everybody knows that. But the fact is, in terms of what we have a challenge in Africa, they want to know you first so much, which I think that's the right way. But in the United States, if you're a business person, what they see is your idea. What do you want to do? Who are you? If you put in a piece of paper, and submit it to them. One person will fund you. You can get your business. You can start your business. And I don't compare that one to Africa, because some people say, hey, I have an idea and can you invest in me? It's impossible in Africa. And you should come with cash as well. You know what I mean?
Well, so, let me just interrupt you
yes,
here.
Please go ahead,
We are running out of time.
Yeah.
I heard that you have a political participation in America. Which party are you involved in, Manchester?
Oh yes. To be honest with you, the reason why we need to involve in politics as an African in America is because we African need to address our issues to the government there in America. So I represent the Republican Party in America. My name is Michael Yadata, Heiser, Republican. So I'm from Maryland, and I stand for African, for every human being, actually, for every loving human being. I stand for you, and I'm focused on business. I don't believe in hands-out support. I want us to work and change ourselves. I don't like pointing fingers to people in terms of race, in terms of anything. It meant to be there. For instance, in America, we face, they call racism, right?
So you say America first and no involvement in African issues?
No.
Domestic
America
issues.
first. First America, then if I'm a rich guy, I will help you because you're my brother. You're from Africa, right? You're Ethiopian. So I make money, I support you. So first me. Let me be a good guy. Let me have everything. So that's why I would say to everybody, I'm a Republican. My name is Michael Yadata. I'm based in Maryland, Silver Spring, running for District 8. So I want to talk to my African brothers in Kenya, in Uganda, even in the United States, that we work together for the better change of Africa. And I really appreciate Ethiopian this morning. And God bless you all, for cameraman and you. Really, thank you so much.
And there are also people.
Yes. God bless you in the back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Michael Yadata, for coming to our studio and just sharing on Pan-Africanism, challenges, opportunities of Pan-Africanism for the integration of Africa.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and have a wonderful week, and take care.
Dear viewers, this has been the conversation with Michael Yadata, who is a diaspora politician and investor from the US. And we have just talked a lot of issues, particularly on how Pan-Africanism can contribute to the creation of integrated Africa. Thank you for watching us, and see you next time.
Excellencies, heads of state and government, first ladies,